right, so good evening and welcome to the Student Life Town Hall focusing on the classes of 2023 and 2024. We're so happy to have you here with us tonight. My name is Jennifer Reinwald and I'm Vice Principal of Student Life and Mission here at Carondelet. And I just want to welcome you to this evening where we hope that we can provide you with some important information about what we're doing at school. I'd like to start, however, with prayer. So if we can just quiet ourselves in the face of a God who loves us. God of all creation, you surround us and dwell within us. We are grateful for this time of joining with others to share our prayer and our reflections. May your spirit of wisdom inspire us to open our eyes to see as you see, open our ears to hear more deeply than the words spoken, open our heart to touch the heart of others. May your spirit of love give us courage to build relationships that empower us, so together we bring unioning love to our world. With St. Joseph as our example, may we continue to trust in God and be faithful to all that God calls us to be as we journey together into our future. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen. St. Joseph, pray for us. God is my light. All right, so we have 3 goals for tonight's program. First, we want to introduce ourselves and our philosophy and what programs and services we have here at Carondelet. Second, we want to share information on what student supports we provide and how your student can access them. And third, we want to give you all a chance to ask questions that we will either answer tonight or answer on a frequently asked questions that will be made available to you after this evening. We are also recording this webinar and we'll be posting it for your future reference in a few days. So first, I'd like to just spend a minute or two to share the Student Life Department's philosophy. So we frame our work in the guiding spirit or charism of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet, the sisters who sponsor our school. The Sisters of St. Joseph, or they're often also called the CSJs, charism is really unifying love. That's what they seek to bring into the world and between people. So to that end, our efforts and work all seek to build community, support inclusion, celebrate diversity, build equity, and use restorative practices to build relationships, all of which align to the mission of the Sisters of St. Joseph. So with that in mind, I'd like to introduce our panelists tonight. And we're actually going to start with our Director of Campus Ministry, Mrs. Edie Payne.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I wanted to start off by just saying that prayer sounded very familiar to me. I have been in all of the sophomore religion classes over the last 2 days, and that is the same prayer we used to begin our activity with the sophomores. So, and that prayer was written by a sister of St. Joseph. Thank you for sharing that with us, Mrs. Reinwald. So I'm just going to share a little bit with you tonight about how campus ministry is going to look this year, since it's a little bit different. It's a lot different. The first thing that we do on a very regular basis is provide daily prayer. So when we're on campus in school, there is a daily prayer that was said over the PA system every morning. Everybody stops what they're doing right where they are and says prayer together. So because we don't have that opportunity, we are posting it every day on our Schoology page. So all the students can go every single morning to the Schoology announcements page and see the daily prayer there. And then also, I work with the Spiritual Life Council, which is our student leaders for campus ministry. And they post our morning prayer, our daily prayer every day in the morning by 8 a.m. on their Instagram page. So if you'd like to follow that, you can, if you have an Instagram account, if you want to follow the SLC account, it is Carondelet_SLC. So Carondelet_SLC, and you can see our daily prayers posted there every day. And the students write those prayers. So we have a whole team of students working on those every day. Liturgy, of course, looks different for us this year too. We've already had our first big liturgy for our Frosh class. That was our Welcome to the Sisterhood liturgy, which was really special. And then actually tomorrow is our first liturgical experience for our sophomore class. And these are virtual experiences. We have music, we have readings, we have student written prayers. They're all kind of presided over by the students. And there's different little interactive activities during our prayers. So we are trying to be as creative as possible with our liturgies and enjoying it so far and learning a lot. As far as retreats go for our Frosh Soph community this year, most of their retreat experiences are going to be in more bite-sized pieces. Since we're not able to take them off campus together or have our big giant sleepover for our Frosh class that we usually do, we're doing smaller retreat and reflection day and yesterday, and that's why we'll be in our Frosh spotlight. So it's actually kind of an invitation for us to break things down and go a little bit deeper in smaller chunks rather than trying to cram a bunch into one retreat day. So we're looking forward to that. There will also be a Frosh Day of Service, and that's an annual day where our Frosh class usually goes out all over the community to do service. And this year they're going to experience a very cool online virtual kind of experience of poverty and navigating some of the challenges of food insecurity. And that will be in October. So we've got some big events coming up for both classes with campus ministry. Sophomore class, their first spotlight and liturgy tomorrow. And then for the Frosh class, their Frosh spotlight, campus ministry will be in their classrooms at the end of the month, and their Frosh Day of Service coming up. There will also be an opportunity to apply to be a part of our Venivere program, which is an immersion program. And those, at this point, the one immersion that we're doing for the older students in the fall is online. And we're just gonna, as things unfold, traditional trips that we've been able to take in the past. But so far we've been able to transition to a lot of open to questions and comments and suggestions. It's a pleasure to see all of you here tonight, and I'm looking forward to working with and getting to know your students. Thank you for trusting us with your students. I'm going to introduce next Maggie Latier. She is our Director of Student Activities and Leadership, and she gets to do a lot of the fun stuff at school. So take it away, Maggie.
Thank you, Edie. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to share my screen because I've got, a little bit of slide or some slides to show. And so give me 1 second. Present. Perfect. Okie dokie. So we have this slideshow presentation right here. And so I'm super excited to meet you all. My name is Maggie Latier. I'm the Director of Student Activities, like Edie said. I like to think of my role as the person that tries to create, fun and engaging memories and events with the students. The students are like my teammates. They are my collaborators. They keep me young, even though I am class of 2013, so I don't like to think that I'm too old yet. So I really am excited to talk to you all about what we're planning for student activities, because typically when we start off the year, we would have a full welcome week with different lunchtime activities and prizes, a big rally, a freshman-only dance, and then the sophomores, juniors, and seniors go to a dance across the street at De La Salle. Obviously, we were not able to do that, but what we've actually been spending a lot of time on is we've asked ourselves the question, in a virtual space, what's going to be the most worthwhile experience? How are we going to get the most students to be able to be part of an individual or a community based off of similar interests? And so what we've done is we've actually really transformed what we've done with our clubs program specifically this year. So I'm really excited to announce that we have a brand new interactive club website that has over 45 different clubs to choose from. It has keyword search capabilities, so if your student is interested in something very specific, they can try to search in the top right corner what they are looking for, and they're bound to find something. But there's also opportunities, let's say, clubs and wellness, or their clubs, they don't see something out of the 45 things that we have. We also have students able to join communities through our exploratory, which is on our Wednesday flex days, which you've all seen the schedule that we do on Wednesdays, where we have a class spotlight on one day, and then grade level, the other grades are working on a variety of different things throughout the time blocks. And so exploratories are also a really fabulous way for students to, dip their toes into something they might be interested in without maybe the commitment as much with a club. And so with clubs, I'm super excited about the club website. This is the bit.ly for it. And we also have posted it on to Schoology, and I'll get to Schoology in a second. But another thing to look out for clubs is we actually are having a virtual club fair on September 23rd, where students will actually be able to sign up for this club fair on the Flex Day Planner that goes out on Tuesdays. September 23rd is a Wednesday, and it's from 11:15 to 12:15, and they'll be able to go to a spreadsheet where there will be Zoom links to every single club, and they'll be able to choose which Zoom link that they want to go into and actually get to talk, one-on-one, two-on-one, in a group setting with the different clubs that we're offering. So I think it's going to be, the closest thing that we can get to what we would typically do, which in a regular year, we would have one day where we would have a club fair at lunch, 40 minutes. Students are trying to get their lunches. They're, maybe able to talk to a few tables. And we've really taken this and spent the whole month of September really dedicated to clubs. We have daily spotlights of clubs, 2 to 3 clubs per day. So we really are taking the whole month of September to really take away the pressure of joining a club on one day and instead giving students the time to think about it for an entire month. And what's super fabulous about this club website is it actually explains, some people might not be interested in going into a club right away. They're nervous, they have other reasons, maybe they have a sport that they're working on, or maybe they're doing some coursework that, fall semester is tricky, but they might want to get involved in spring. We have opportunities. Most clubs are what we would call open enrollment, which means that they can join at any time. And so we really want to make sure that, students take things at their own pace. But I do want to be mindful there are a few clubs, if you look at this club website, which we have made available so that anyone with the link can view, so parents can view it. You don't need a Crondelet email address to view this website. One of the things to look out for is some of our competitive clubs, like Model UN, Mock Trial, Mathletes, Odyssey of the Mind, just to name a few of them. They have an asterisk next to them, which means you need to join them at the beginning of the year, or else you won't be able to join them later on. The only exception would be Company, which is our theater club that we actually share with De La Salle, and you can actually join that in second semester because there are 2 separate productions throughout the year. The next thing that I want to talk about is, how can you get involved? So there are so many different ways with clubs and with, the exploratories, but maybe, your student is interested in a formal student leadership position. Those are actually, we're building a website right now so that for students to start exploring if they want to join a council. We have a variety of councils on this campus. We have each grade has their own class council, an all student body or associated student body council comprised of members from every grade, a Green Team Environmental Council, the Spiritual Life Council that Edie mentioned, our peer counselors, which will be mentioned later on in this presentation, We're going to make a website where students can find out how they can join these opportunities as well. Those are all in the spring, but just to let you know that that information will become more available so a student can kind of plan out what they're thinking further in advance than, I see an application or I see a Schoology post, I guess I'll apply. And the last thing is we really, really, really want your students to make sure that they read the Schoology announcements. ASB just launched their first video announcement, which is a news style segment that happens on Mondays. This is a great opportunity for students to showcase things that are going on. We have a cute little animated mascot. You'll have to check out the video. One of my students, I'm going to humble brag here, she made an animated cougar who actually roars. I know cougars don't roar, but it has the cat noise at the beginning of the presentation. So it's really cute for every weekly announcement. So make sure you always check the announcements on Schoology because we do post about specific club offerings if they have a deadline. Like CSF, our California Scholarship Federation, is a perfect example of something that was posted about multiple times on Schoology and had a deadline. And so that's where you're going to find your announcements, because typically, like Ms. Payne talked about before, we would have verbal announcements every single day. So instead we do written announcements and then a weekly video announcement set out for Mondays. And so I'm super excited that I got to share about what's going on. There's lots of ways. I really think that clubs, the intentionality that we've put into making clubs as robust as they are, is I truly believe that they are the way that the majority of students can find a place that they can find a new friend, especially for our freshmen that might be nervous about getting to know other freshmen, or for sophomores that, maybe they are exploring new friend options. We want to make sure that there's plenty of ways for students to meet new people given our current circumstances. So I'm very excited to introduce a fellow alumnae, Marilee Silvera, who is our Director of Academic Learning and Support, who will be talking about a few agenda items of her own. So Marilee, take it away.
Thank you, Ms. Latier. Hi, everyone, and welcome to tonight's town hall meeting. I'm so happy that you could be here with us. I am the Director of Academic and Learning Support, and our department basically works with students that are having a challenge accessing their academics for some reason. And that could be, it could be a medical circumstance, chronic acute, it could be a social emotional situation. It could be that they're showing up on a low grade report. It could be that they have a learning challenge that's actually documented. And so we're also responsible for the generation of various academic plans in helping to meet student need. I'm very fortunate to be able to work with two amazing people. Mrs. Samantha Martinez, she is basically our ed support specialist, and she oversees our CEPs, our Corolla Educational Plans for students with specific learning challenges. And then she also oversees a large piece of our Heart, Faith, Courage, and Excellence class. And then we also have Mr. Darren McKay, who is our wise soul, and he works with students that have CAPs, and in the public school district that would be likened to a 504 plan. So we all work very hard to help students that are in need, trying to get them reconnected with academics for various reasons. Tonight, I wanted to, my home run is I wanted to talk to you about 3 items, and that is attendance, engagement, and follow through. It all begins with attendance, and I just want to put out there that we only have 2 occasions per week as classroom teachers to be able to reach your student, and so it's just critical that they are in attendance and ready for school. I was just telling a student today, set your iPhone not for 8:15, but set it for 8 o'clock. Sit down, be present 15 minutes before class. And then get your Schoology going, get it open so that you're prepared to engage right when class begins. So just a little workaround. The second one is engagement. So they might be in attendance and you might see them in their workspace staring at a screen, but it doesn't mean that they're necessarily engaged. And so if you have the opportunity, we're not asking you to hover or watch over them. This is a huge journey towards independence and discovery on their own. But if you have the chance to check in on them, kind of making sure that they're engaged, could they be multitasking, FaceTiming, texting, tending to social media prompts? I have a freshman of my own, so I know what it looks like on that side. Just to remind your student to take every opportunity to engage in small groups, discussions that are taking place online. It really means something to their overall learning and what they're taking away from the class. And then lastly is the follow through. So they're in attendance. We hope that they're engaged, and then they're put off into their independent time. Maybe it's within the block period itself, or maybe it's later in the day after school. And now it's time to follow through. So now they have this learning management system before them called Schoology, and it can be multi-layered. And so especially for our Frosh, they might have some challenge sifting through in how to get to what it is that they need for the day. But we're hoping by now that there's been enough school ritual in place so that they know where to go, when to go to get what they need. But this is also a point where I want to mention something about time management, and that is another piece that you can help with on the home front, and that is just really crucial at this time. So if they're on independent time during their block period, how are they using that time? Is it towards that particular subject? Are they trying to take care of other homework that they might have? And then again, in the evening hours, if they're kind of pushing their work off to complete later in the evening, they might need some assistance in time management at that point in time also. At the same time, help them get away from the screen. So encourage breaks, get up, walk around, grab something to eat, come back refreshed, ready for the next class. So at this point, I think what I want to do is mention a couple of our support structures. So on these slides, and I'll go ahead and put it into the chat in just a second, we have a link for teacher office hours. So if your student is experiencing, or there's academic concerns, the first step is always to encourage your student to reach out to their teacher. And that can happen via a number of ways. Zoom, it could be email. Our teachers are even willing to take phone calls. So this link for teacher office hours has all of their information and the occasions in which they can be reached. And then the other piece to that is that you'll also see department chairs listed on this spreadsheet, so that if a problem is not resolved with or between teacher and student, we encourage you to reach out, help your child to reach out to the department chair for that department. So that would be your first and your second steps. Past that, you can certainly reach out to myself for assistance. And if I can't help or answer immediately, I can direct you in the right way to get the answer or help that you need. The other support structure that's listed there is our Power Pack. We have 4 occasions for virtual Power Pack right now. And Power Pack is, it's really blooming into something really grand right now. Basically, it's an occasion for supervised assistance for your student, where they can gain just general tips and tricks, prioritization, organization. They might have questions about how to access Schoology. Basically, Power Pack is a session where they can get that help from, right now it's Mr. McKay and myself that are running it, but we've had teachers come in during Power Pack to assist students. We've had Miss Tracy come in and speak to students about Schoology, connection issues, what have you. And so it can become more than just specific academic support. We also have our NHS CSF tutors available during that time. So if your child is in need of content-specific help, we will work very hard to match them up with a peer tutor during those Power Pack sessions. Right now, they're being offered during both 0 periods. So during a regular week, that would be Tuesday afternoon and Friday afternoon. And then we also run Power Pack on Flex Wednesday during both academic periods. And just another point that I wanted to mention, because this is an unusual time, we know that there are students that are quite challenged with, distance learning, and we're there with them every step of the way. We also look to partner with you as the parents, and in doing so, in the next week, and Dr. Chapineau could chime in here too if she wants, we plan on sending out a progress report, which is not something that we do normally. Usually Q1 is our first reporting period, but our plan is to send out a progress report so that you can have a sense of how your daughter is doing. The other thing is that a survey will be coming out to you as parents, and that survey will help us to help you basically triage your concerns. So I know Ms. Latier, I think it's the next slide where we have some contacts. There is my information, our case manager information, and then the next slide is where we also have information for Ms. Tracy, who if you have tech or access related questions or issues, you want to reach out to her. She would also be the person that can help with any Schoology related questions. And then if you're interested in or have problems with PowerSchool, accessing PowerSchool either for yourself as a parent or for your daughter, Mrs. Almonte would be your go-to person. I think that's it for me. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Mrs. Main, our Dean of Students.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Caitlin Main, Dean of Students, and the Dean's office is here to promote positive school culture, ensure school safety, and to serve as a resource for students and families. And I also work very closely with our amazing attendance officer, Melissa Mimari. My 3 points tonight are attendance, your daughter's workspace, and also how to access campus in the upcoming weeks and months. In terms of attendance, I really want to underscore the points that Marilee brought up earlier. Attendance really provides us with some important student data. Being marked online present participating, or OPP, tells us that a student is safe, she's healthy, she's engaging with her peers and her teachers, and she's establishing a healthy routine while we're remote. That being said, anytime your daughter is absent, whether it's a planned absence or something more last minute, an injury or an illness, it's critical that you, the parents or guardians, communicate with Melissa as soon as possible. Email is preferred, her Carondelet email address that I can add to the chat later, but you can also use the attendance hotline. We also encourage students to follow up directly with their teachers. That's a great way to just open the lines of communication between your daughter and her teachers, but really for our PowerSchool records to be accurate, we need the parent or guardian to email or call Melissa. In terms of your daughter's workspace or study space, it's really important that she has a quiet, dedicated place for class time and studying. It should be free from distractions during the school day. And we ask that students always view their own screen and if possible, be in their own private room away from siblings or others in the house. We also want to acknowledge that Wi-Fi issues have been affecting many of our students. And having internet access, not just a phone hotspot, is really necessary for students to access their education. We understand that intermittent Wi-Fi issues may happen. Everybody's working from home and doing school from home. But if you and your daughter are experiencing Wi-Fi issues more than twice a week, we'd really like you to take a look at our home internet troubleshooting guide. It's available on our website, and I'll also add it to the chat. It has some great tips and tricks, and as well as some resources for securing free internet through 2020. So it's really worth looking into. And then last but not least for tonight, accessing campus. Our athletics and company cohorts are currently underway. It was great to see the air quality clear up today so our athletes could get to the CAC. And in the upcoming weeks and months, we're going to be adding some enrichment activities or enrichment cohorts to bring more students back to campus. And in order to access campus, our students must complete the CHS pre-screen app questionnaire. And by now, all students should have this app on their school-issued iPads, and some may choose to have the app on their cell phone as well. So please take a moment in the next few days or upcoming weeks to make sure that your daughter has logged into the app and that she's familiar. This is just another protective measure to ensure the safety of all of our students and our staff. And it's important that our girls fill out the questionnaire consistently and honestly. That's all I have for tonight. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. I also want to put in a plug for the Sunday e-news. That's a great way to get all of the latest information on student life and just what's going on campus. And now I'm going to toss it over to Sarah Alpert, one of our wellness counselors.
Hi, so I am Sarah Alpert. Myself and Stacy Basano are your two wellness counselors here on campus. We are happy to own that we are the warm, squishy people on campus. And we're really known for our one-on-one talking skills. So I just want to say, I just kind of want to put it out there that it seems weird to be talking to a large group in kind of a giant void where I can't see any of your faces. So that's a little bit strange for me right now. But it's great that you're all here. We are your support staff, and we're here to help guide your daughters as they navigate what it means to be a teenager, which can be kind of complicated as they move on their way to becoming a young adult. We check in with your daughters individually for a variety of reasons over the course of their years with us at Carondelet. We meet with them in groups. We love going into classrooms and providing education pieces. We're here to support teachers as they work with your daughters. We're in contact with parents and make outside referrals when needed. One of the things that Stacy and I really, really love is that we get to facilitate the peer counseling program. So our senior peer counselors began welcoming our freshmen last spring into our community, and they will continue to mentor them throughout their first year here at Carondelet through their community program. And it is really, really something that we love to watch unfold as they build connections with their seniors and with their freshman sisters. The beginning of the school year is always a time of transition. Coming back to school after summer is never easy. This year, that is especially true as we're working remotely. I cannot speak enough about the work that Maggie does for these girls to have fun. But that said, we continue to hear from our girls that it is hard, that they are missing out on the on-campus fun parts of school. And that we are really, really mindful that the days can be taxing, that they're literally Zooming their way through their days. And so we just want you to know, please, that we're working hard as wellness counselors and as a department to create opportunities for your daughters to have connections with their campus, with their teachers, and with their classmates. We know how vital and important these connections are. We so understand potentially that your daughters might be sad or frustrated or angry or unsure, or they might be checking off all of those boxes. It may be all of the above. Where we find ourselves right now is new for all of us. I have been a counselor for many years. I really do love my job. I really do love working with your daughters. I honestly wish I had some kind of magic wand that could make all of this go away and make it better, but I don't. The one thing that I can say is that we are here to listen. If there is overwhelming sadness in your home, please reach out. It does not require overwhelming sadness for you to reach out to us. If your daughter is frustrated, if she is angry, if she is sad, if she's unsure, if she just has a question, have her reach out. One of the things that we're really grateful for on our campus is that there is a culture of acceptance, that coming to the counselor's office is okay. Like, we like to believe that we're kind of cool. The girls tend to back that up. They are good to come and see us. And I know that for the freshmen, that they haven't really had a chance to be on campus yet and see that that is really a thing on our campus. And we hope that they will have that opportunity soon. We look forward to it. The one other thing that I want to add is just for you guys to be watching out in the future, in the very near future, to be hearing from us. Stacy and I are going to be hosting some much smaller groups of conversations with parents on how to support your daughters. We're really looking forward to it. We're excited about it. And we're hoping that it will be an opportunity for some learning, for some processing, and for some time to discuss topics, not only with us, but with other parents. And so we really look forward to seeing you guys soon. That's it for me.
All right. So at this time, you'll notice in the you'll have the Q&A available to you. Some of you have been asking questions, which is great. So if you have any questions for any of us, feel free to put them in the Q&A, and we will answer as many as possible. Which, you know, we have already answered some that are already in the Q&A. So please go ahead and ask some questions in the Q&A, and we'll leave that open a little bit. I did have one question that came in before the town hall that I wanted to ask. So I'm going to direct that to Edie Payne, our Director of Campus Ministry. There is a question that came in before our town hall asking for details on how our school celebrates Advent and Lent. Would you like to share a little bit with us?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. Usually during Advent and Lent, we have some special liturgical celebrations, and we usually have a service and advocacy, justice, community service project during each of those seasons. Typically in Advent, we focus on something that's more local, and typically in Lent, we focus on something that's more of a global issue. We look at both of those seasons as opportunities not to just do charity and donate money, but really time to learn about the needs of the community around us and the community at large around the world and respond to those needs. So that's very much kind of inspired by the Sisters of St. Joseph. Responding to the needs of the times is something that is special to the CSJ tradition. And we try to do that in our Lenten and Advent seasons. In addition to the prayer and liturgy that's offered. Like, we have a liturgy on Ash Wednesday. We have a Holy Week liturgy that we usually celebrate together, and at least one prayer service, sometimes a couple of prayer services during Advent, depending on where the weeks of Advent fall. So I hope that is thorough enough information for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And actually, just based on something that was answered in the Q&A, but maybe Maggie giving you an opportunity to maybe answer a little bit more fully, there were several questions about De La Salle clubs too, and whether or not Carondelet students can join De La Salle clubs. You answered a little bit of that on the chat, but do you want to expand just a little bit?
Absolutely. So I work closely with De La Salle on a variety of different things. And so one of the things that we're both trying to get off the ground is this, more elaborate club process. And so they are currently working on their spreadsheet of different offerings. And so they've shared me those options, but they're still finalizing it. So I didn't want to publish that without them, having a for sure thing. So they're planning on having a virtual club fair. They told me tentatively that it will be September 30th. And so that will be the Wednesday following the September 23rd, which is our virtual club fair. And so they're trying to get that off the ground for September 30th. And then you can join De La Salle clubs and vice versa. De La Salle students can join Carondelet clubs. And some of our clubs are actually co-ed in practice. So like that, it's fully co-ed, like company or like the De La Salle trap shooting team. That is a club that girls and boys are both part of. So all students are welcome to join both Carondelet and De La Salle clubs.
Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions in the Q&A. So just wanted to open it up. Are there any final words from anyone on the panel? Any last words? Okay, so in the Q&A it says the club link did not work.
Let me grab that. Give me 1 second.
Okay. I think it might just need to be opened. So as Ms. Latier is working on that, hopefully we'll be able to get that up before we end this town hall. Oh, there we go. So what we're going to do is actually, if there aren't any other questions, we will go ahead and let you move on with your evening, with your families. Again, we are recording this town hall. We plan on posting it later, along with some frequently asked questions and also a link to the slides that we use this evening. As we end our town hall, we will have a slide up with all of our contact information. If you wish to take a screenshot or a photo of it while you're waiting for us to put up the recording in a few days, go ahead and do so. But I think at this time, we're going to say good evening. Thank you for joining us. So happy to see you, and really hope that things get better out there, and so that we can rejoin as a community in real time with each other sometime soon. So Ms. Latier, maybe you can put up that last slide for everybody, and then have a good evening.